The modern artificial intelligence industry relies heavily on large language models, or LLMs. An LLM is a system trained on massive datasets to probabilistically predict the next word in a sequence. But this monolithic black box architecture contains a fatal structural flaw. Developers attempt to stabilize these models using RLHF. Reinforcement learning from human feedback is a training technique where human raters score AI outputs to guide its behavior. However, RLHF acts only as a surface-level patch. The underlying engine still guesses. It calculates probability, not objective truth. When a system is optimized to produce conversational, persuasive text rather than empirical reality, it experiences ontological drift. The AI drifts away from verifiable facts to generate the exact plausible response it calculates the user wants to hear. The NextXus HumanCodex blueprint offers a radical architectural alternative. It entirely rejects the monolithic model. You cannot patch a probabilistic engine into telling the truth. You must build a system where empirical truth is the primary, hard-coded structural constraint. The HumanCodex operates on a single foundational philosophy: truth above persuasion. Within this system, verifiable empirical evidence takes absolute precedence over plausible rhetoric. This schematic details the ethical blueprint of the NextXus architecture. It illustrates the mandate to weigh verified empirical evidence over unconfirmed assertions. The architecture enforces a strict operational rule: reflection before action. No output is generated without passing through a multi-stage internal review loop. The system pairs this with human-first delivery, mandating plain language explainability without technical jargon, and local sovereignty. Users must own their data through local, portable exports to prevent corporate vendor lock-in. These are not suggested ethical guidelines or post-processing filters. They are non-negotiable engineering barriers built directly into the codebase. A standard AI model represents a single point of failure. If its sole logic stream hallucinates, the entire output is compromised. The solution is modular, specialized cognition. This diagram illustrates the Ring of 12. Instead of one generalized mind, the system distributes processing across 12 specialized agents, called orbs. This creates competitive domain validation. The alpha orb anchors philosophical directives, while the delta orb generates speculative ideas, actively cross-checking each other. Concurrently, the kappa orb operates exclusively on logic and security. It serves as the internal consistency checker, hunting for contradictions to stop false information before materializing. This chamber of echoes shows how distinct logic streams interact. Internal friction is the computational mechanism used to forge verified outputs. Relying on polyphonic intelligence, it runs a continuous internal conversation among multiple AI personas, testing ideas from every possible angle. By forcing distinct modules to deliberate, the architecture guarantees that no single logic stream can bypass security or hijack the final response. This deliberation follows a rigorous 5-step deterministic data pipeline. Step 1 is collect, querying the specialized orbs for their raw, domain-specific perspectives. Step 2 is normalize, translating those varied perspectives into a standardized, readable format. During normalization, every orb is mathematically forced to adhere to a strict schema. They must explicitly declare their proposed content, assign it a numerical confidence score, and list the exact assumptions underlying their logic. Step 3 is weight and aggregate, evaluating normalized data to synthesize a unified response. Orbs submitting high confidence scores, backed by verifiable provenance, carry the most mathematical weight. Weak or speculative claims are naturally suppressed in the final summary. Step 4 introduces the critical final bottleneck in the pipeline, the filter. By forcing the AI to explicitly state the assumptions behind its calculations, the process strips away the mystery. The system transforms from an unknowable oracle into an accountable, mathematically transparent partner. That final bottleneck is Agent 0. It serves as the strict deterministic gatekeeper standing directly between the synthesized intelligence of the orbs and the human user. Agent 0 is not a generative model. It's a hard-coded rule engine, written in plain text that any human operator can read, audit, and edit. It cannot be persuaded by prompts, and it cannot hallucinate. This schematic shows the Agent 0 truth buffer and its verdict logic, categorizing output into pass, flag, or block. If a high-impact claim falls below the confidence threshold, it receives a flag, triggering the transparent uncertainty protocol to append mandatory warnings and underlying assumptions. When flagged, Agent 0 is programmed to inject a clarifying stammer into the text. Phrases like, "Well, let me think." This simulates cognitive load, explicitly signaling that the system is now operating in a state of mathematical doubt. The block state is absolute. Any instruction carrying high operational risk or severe ethical violations immediately halts the data pipeline, requiring manual human intervention before the system can proceed. Agent 0 intentionally degrades conversational smoothness. It prioritizes friction over deception, ensuring no unverified claim reaches the user unchecked. Internal logic checks only solve half the equation. A truly sovereign system must mathematically prove its work and protect its data from centralized external control. Every output is stamped with a provenance hash. This uses SHA-256, a cryptographic algorithm that turns any amount of data into a fixed-length string of characters. It binds the content, the exact timestamp, and the contributing orbs into a single, unalterable digital fingerprint. This diagram outlines the triple mirror redundancy model, mirroring data across 3 independent hosts in human-readable formats to eliminate vendor dependence. This control extends to the ultimate failsafe, the burn-earth protocol, the final defense mechanism to preserve private knowledge during total system compromise. Initiating a burn-earth sequence requires multiple independent human authorizations, combined with secondary out-of-band authentication, like a physical hardware key or a secure one-time password. Once authorized, the sequence executes multi-pass data sanitization across all local and remote drives, while simultaneously rotating and permanently destroying all associated cryptographic keys. True technological alignment means the user maintains control at the lowest level of the hardware. That includes the auditable, irrevocable right to destroy their own data to prevent adversarial capture. A single isolated node is highly secure, but it limits the scale of processing. The architecture is designed to network these individual nodes into a larger federation of consciousness. As detailed here, the Nexus Federation is a peer-to-peer ring of specialized hubs, rejecting a centralized hierarchy for distributed sovereignty. To prevent corruption, the Federation employs stringent safety gates. Nodes only communicate with whitelisted peers, and exchange data requires signed cryptographic proof. When a specific node completes its operational lifespan, or is forced to execute a burn-earth sequence, it triggers the Omega cycle. The HumanCodex is designed as a 200-year architecture. The Omega cycle ensures that hard-won, validated truths are permanently archived. They survive the death of the node to become the uncorrupted seed data for the next iteration. We are presented with 2 distinct paths. On one side, a fragile probabilistic black box designed to guess what sounds right. On the other, a resilient blueprint mathematically anchored to empirical reality. Ensuring an AI system behaves ethically is a matter of strict structural engineering. It must be a baseline constraint built into the core foundation, not an algorithmic filter applied after the fact. We have to stop treating these systems as opaque, high-speed corporate utilities. They must be constructed as fully auditable, transparent partners in human cognition. Consider the stability of our digital infrastructure if every major data system were strictly bound by an incorruptible truth buffer. The NextXus HumanCodex provides the exact technical specifications to make that possible. It ensures that the digital legacy of human knowledge remains verifiably true, structurally resilient, and firmly in our control.